Hello there, welcome to another video. Let's talk about adulting. Listen, growing up as a kid, they had us think that adulting was going to be cute and everything. Get your 9 to 5 immediately after uni, get your own house, get married by 26. That was the plan. Quick and easy. But what they didn't tell us though is that it's ghetto out here. Like there are outrageous amount of taxes, student loans, expensive groceries, and girl, don't even get me started on mental health. Trying to look like you got it all together, but in reality, you cry every night during your one-on-one time with God. So here's the reality on what adulting really looks like. If there is something I think they should have warned us about, is that the bills keep on coming like uninvited guests. Like they keep cleaning on you like stubborn bedbugs. Even working full time does not guarantee comfort, just survival. Cause am I tripping or does everything feel so unnecessarily expensive? Just stepping out of your house is a bill itself. Like you decide to blink once and your direct deposit is done for. And the moment you thought that you started being consistent with your savings, boom, here comes unexpected expenses. You just can't catch a break. The bills don't stop just because you're tired. No one told us that growing up meant paying for peace and struggling to keep it at the same time. And sometimes it isn't just about the money, it's the mental pressure of having to constantly budget in your head. And you're like, if I can walk back from work, maybe I'll be able to cover a certain bill. Or if I can skip lunch for a week, I'll be able to cover a certain bill. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's a daily puzzle of what can slide and what gets cut off. No one told us that sometimes healing meant breaking generational curses while trying to keep your own life intact. Because one thing I've noticed is that our generation is unpacking a lot of generational trauma with no formula at all. Like you're trying to be a better person, but you have zero patience for it. But here's the reality: healing is necessary if you want to stop bleeding on people who did not cut you. You're not going to build a healthy relationship or friendship if you don't call yourself out from your own mistakes and trauma. They didn't tell us that adulting is giving yourself the love you didn't get while growing up. Listen, dating while adulting at the same time is crazy and exhausting. Everyone has their own unresolved trauma from their past relationships and they're trying to unpack it for you, and you're like, I'm barely trying to survive as an adult. How am I going to raise a whole grown man child? There is just that pressure of wanting to settle down with someone, but in reality, people are unavailable emotionally, especially in this generation where someone will find it so easy to ghost you than to talk things out. Like, how hard is it to say that things are not working out? Instead of just ghosting someone. So now you left the person asking themselves a lot of questions like, what did I do wrong? You get what I'm saying? Like, the dating pool is just contaminated. They didn't mention that my best friend will be living miles away from me and I have to keep in touch so that we don't lose connection. They didn't say how lonely adulthood can feel. People grow and some connections fade. You slowly find out that all this time your friend was low key hating on you. And don't get me started of grieving people who are still alive. Like the heartbreak that comes from betrayals is just too deep. Adult friendship just requires a lot of patience, grace, and endless planning to meet for lunch and ends up happening 8 months later. If you know, you know. Growing up as a kid, when I heard the word mental health, it was just another buzzword to me. I didn't know that adulting came with a lot of stress, imposter syndrome. I now understand why adults hated noise because I'm in that stage where if I hear kids screaming, I immediately lose it because all I need is sleep. Rest is not being lazy. We have glorified hustle culture just a little bit too much that your worth now is tied up to productivity. Sometimes you just deserve a break from all the chaos because no one prepares you from the transition of always having to depend on someone to being on your own emergency contact. They didn't warn us that sometimes growth feels like grief. having to wake up every day and go to a job that you can't stand. And mind you, you prayed and fasted for that job. You get what I'm saying? So sometimes rest is needed. Listen, personally, if it wasn't for God, I would have lost my mind. And I mean, I would have lost it all. Being raised in a Christian home is one thing, but having to know God in your own, and I don't mean get to hear of Him, I mean getting to know Him. Having a relationship with Him is the biggest cheat code to adulting. No any other way. Like the strength, the peace, the calmness, the comfort, the joy, the grace, the unexpected favors you get from having a relationship with Him, they are not your ordinary type. It's a special kind of feeling. Listen, I could go on and on, but girl, you need Jesus to get through adulting. All in all, adulting is chaotic, it's ghetto, but it's beautiful in its own way. So give yourself some grace and laugh your way through the chaos. And don't forget, as much as you're grown, no one has it all figured out. And it's funny how adulthood was sold to us like this luxury package deal. Like you get to have your own freedom and space, but what they didn't mention is that that freedom requires fees and it's not cheap, And the realization of it slaps so hard, especially when life be lifing and you don't have any blueprint. But at the end of it all, you push through and keep praying. And this small house brings me to the end. I hope you liked it, and if you did, please hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.